Hi, I'm Bin Liu. I'm going to talk about how to teach in global business thinking through Think Aloud. Let's start with a question. Are our business students really think like entrepreneurs? In today's globalized world, markets, supply chains, and culture across nations, simple memorizing the definitions and theories is no longer enough. Business education in the 21st century must help students develop critical, reflective, and creative deep thinking skills. Today, we will explore one teaching strategy that supports these skills, the Think Loud strategy, and see how it helps students achieve deep learning in lesson about globalization. First, let's distinguish between surface learning and deep thinking. Surface learning means students only memorize facts, such as definition of globalization of theories of international trade. Deep thinking, however, requires them to analyze why multinational companies adopt different strategies in different countries and how they balance global and local needs. The globalization of education is challenging the goals of business education, encouraging students to develop global competence and cross-cultural understanding. Psychologist Flavor pointed out the mental cognition, thinking about one's own thinking, is the key to learning. The Think Like strategy internalized this process. Teachers express their thought process while reasoning and making decisions in class, allowing students to hear how thinking happens and making thought visible. In this example, we look at a case of a European company considering whether to move its production line to Vietnam. The decision-making process involves several layers of thinking. First comes the question, why outsource? Labor costs in Vietnam are lower, but there are risks such as supply chain disruption, tariff changes, and intellectual property protection. Then cultural facts are considered. Local management styles and workplace values differ from these in Europe, which could affect productivity. Environmental sustainability also plays a role. Businesses today must reduce carbon emissions, which may influence transportation and logistics decisions. After weighing these factors, a reasonable conclusion might be to particular outsource production while keeping core manufacturing and quality control in the home country. This example illustrates the three core strategies of mental cognitive thinking: planning, humanitarian, and evaluating. Through this think aloud process, the reasoning becomes visible. Students can allow each step of thought, understand the complexity of global business decisions, and learn how to think, not just what to learn. First, it allows students to see how thinking happens. helping them build metacognitive awareness and self-regulated learning skills. Second, it encourages students to engage in critical reflection within a global context. For example, analyzing the ethical, cultural, and economic impacts of outsourcing. It also increases students' confidence in solving complex problems and expressing their ideas in real business situations. However, there are also some challenges. Some students may feel uncomfortable expressing their thinking in multilingual classrooms. Teachers need time to train students to think and speak effectively in culturally diverse settings. Students' listening styles and community patterns may differ. Therefore, educators should apply the gradual release model. First model the process, then practice together, and finally allow students to perform the think aloud independently. In global business education, our goal is not only to teach students business theories, but to develop future leaders who can think deeply and make ethical decisions across cultures. The Think Loud strategy helps students hear their thinking, reflect on it, and adjust it, turning learning from a passive process into an active one. Let me end with one key message. Let students speak their thinking and learn by expressing their thoughts. So, next time you teach topics like globalization, outsourcing, or international markets, try using Think Aloud strategy. It helps students not only learn business, but learn to think like global business leaders. Thank you.